Hero, how are you? Welcome to the película.
I'm good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
We're very happy to have you here.
You have quite a particular and beautiful name. What qualities make a person stand out as a hero?
Thank you so much. It's quite a big shoes to fill as a name hero. I think it's as simple as just being selfless. You don't necessarily have to save someone's life, but it's about putting someone else before you and using what you have to help someone else, I guess. I guess it's just helping others and being selfless.
How did you start in this industry? Like, what was the first step or that changing moment in your life that made you say, okay, I want to be part of this?
I don't think I ever woke up one day and went, I really want to act. I think the first thing was my dad said his friend was making a movie and it was one day's work and it was £100 cash at the end of the day. And I did that and went straight to like the sports shop and got like a full West Ham kit as my football team, a full kit. And then years down the line, you realize that was so cool. And my mum said there was an audition for Harry Potter and I was like, let's do it. From there, it kind of became something that I fell in love with, as opposed to waking up one day and being like, that's what I want to do. So yeah, I kind of fell into it.
What was the biggest lesson you learned and never forgot and applied every day from all the amazing actors and that experience?
I think Michael Gambon, who was the only actor I actually like had a proper scene with. I met a few of them, but he's the only one I kind of like properly got to know while filming. Went on there like, oh gosh, I got to get this right. Like looking at my mum, like, am I doing it right? Like, you know, not wanting to mess up, kind of scared. And he would just like show me a little magic trick and like point someone out and say, look, that person's hat looks funny. And I think what I learned from him was just enjoy it. If you're happy and you're positive and you're confident and you are having fun, you're probably going to do your best work.
Which were your expectations when you went on the set of Harry Potter, and how did they change at the end of the day? Like, what was the most surprising thing from being there?
I don't think I even knew what to expect. I didn't even have an idea in my head of what it would be like. I was very young and I didn't know what to expect at all. It was huge. First of all, just huge. The thing that I remember most about was everyone had their own bikes, like bicycles, that had their names on them. Because set was so big, to just go to the cafeteria and back to your trailer, people had bicycles. But that's the main thing I remember, just how huge it was.
Let's talk about After. It's such a phenomenon. You pretty much became every girl's dream, and you are like the dream boyfriend, despite Harden is not exactly the role model character, you know? So can we go back to the beginning and where you were like probably applying for this role? How was the casting? What was the pressure? Because, you know, this was already a bestseller when it happened.
Do you know what? I have to be honest. When I got the audition, it was a strange time of like, you wait for ages and you get no auditions come through, and then all of a sudden they all come at once. So I remember it coming in a week where I think I definitely had multiple auditions on that same day, and I'm pretty sure I was still. Actually, I wasn't at school, but I was working as well. And I just remember being so busy and just like finish one and straight on to the next one. And afterwards, the only one like that I got the callback for. And then it started being like, okay, so this one's the priority. The rest of them, you know, and you start to focus because you don't know what you're going to get. And yeah, it was a process of having like, I think it was 3 or 4 different, almost like a Zoom call like this. And every time there'd be like another person in the screen, another person. By the end of it, there were probably like 8 people in the Zoom listening. And then they flew me out to LA to chemistry read. And it was in a room full of probably like 15 people. And I thought like, if they're flying me out, they're probably quite serious. And yeah, and then it happened. It all kind of happened like a bit of a whirlwind. It kind of just all of a sudden it was like, oh wow, I'm probably gonna do it.
Hero, there must have been an awful load of fan theories, of crazy fan theories you might heard both from Harry Potter, but also from After. Can you recall one of them, maybe the craziest one?
I don't indulge myself too much in fan theories. I think I need to like. Do you know if I don't actually know of any fan theories. I know there are, but they just haven't. I haven't been. Do you know of any you could tell me?
Well, I found one crazy theory about After, and it links you as Tom Riddle. Tom Riddle, Hardin Scott is the same energy as Hardin Scott. Has the same energy.
I see that. I see that. Hardin keeps secrets, but he'd be keeping a lot more secrets if he was secretly Tom Riddle as well. Also, that would mean his nose was probably going to fall off after a while. So hopefully, if that was true, I hope Tessa loved him enough to love him without his nose as well.
And I know you're shooting the third part of After. does it get easier for you to, you know, after knowing what happened with the first part and knowing that you have such a huge fan base and that they love you? Because, you know, sometimes it happens when you adapt books to movies, you know, people is like, oh, he's not what I expected. You're obviously what they expected and they love you. So does it make it easier for you to just jump into this character and be more confident about what you're doing?
First of all, thank you so much for saying that. And yeah, definitely. I mean, 100% the support fuels you to be more confident and allows you to be more, you know, free with it. And everyone performs better when they're confident in themselves. So yeah, I'm really grateful that, and I'm happy that I kind of hopefully did the character justice in a lot of the fans' eyes. And yeah, to answer your question, it definitely gets easier, not just with their support and them, you know, kind of, you know, liking how you bring the character to life, but also the fact that you do 1 and 2. By number 3, you're like, I know this character, I know who he is. Like I am him when I play, you know.
How do you find your ground being so young and starting this career that might seem sometimes like a roller coaster?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I think just my friends, I think just the kind of foundation that my family and friends have set me up as a person. I think I'm just super grateful for the people around me because, yeah, they would never let me, you know, fly away in that sense. I'll definitely stay. Me being grounded is definitely thanks to the people around me, for sure.
I have to ask you, which are your go-to films and which are your go-to series?
There's the French film, The Untouchables. Yeah, the French film The Untouchables is one of my favorite. I also love like Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption, all the classic number ones, but that's my kind of more niche favorite film, The Untouchables, the French one. They did a remake recently with Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston, and I love those guys, but I'm not going to let that tarnish. The first one was so good, I don't want to watch that one. So yeah, the French version, the original, is probably my favorite film. And then it's boring again, but Game of Thrones.
So tell us about the movie that always makes you cry. The one that always sets you in tears.
Oh, do you know what? Not movie, but This Is Us. You know that series, This Is Us. I don't watch that kind of stuff. Yeah, it gets me every time. It gets me. Like it's like a horror movie intensity of emotion. Like you watch one episode and you're like, I need a glass of water on an early night. That was a lot. So yeah, I think that show's incredible. Everything in it, the dialogue, the directing, the acting, especially. Yeah. Well, I know it's not a film, but definitely that's the most emotional thing I've ever seen.
Thank you so much for your time.